One being able to set up a...
Yeah, we've set something up with National Express coaches, and we have a ticket which for £20 on top of the festival ticket gets you to and from the festival for £20 in mainland Britain. So, you know, that's a good deal.
We try CityLink, which is the equivalent of National Express in Scotland. We tried to do a similar thing to what Chris is. We tried to do it on the inside of the ticket, so it was free, and it was just becoming. They just won't play ball. They're just not interested unless there's a buy-in from everybody, which is the customer, the supplier, if you like, as well as the promoter. It won't work, and you know these guys just refuse to reduce their costs down. We were trying to do like a 3-year program to change the culture of how people travel to festivals, and they just refused to do it. So it would have meant us as promoter paying the full cost of every single ticket, which
that's what happened last year in Madrid.
It's just impossible.
Rock in Rio was totally free, and of course you cannot afford just to say you come free because the first day you have to do. And also this, I mean, it's unfortunate people, even if you say you put it in a ticket, it doesn't really work still. Because in the end of the day, I mean, I think you do have no company at all. It doesn't matter what you explain to them. It doesn't matter which marketing value you give to them. In the end of the day, they don't want to know. You know, so you have to pay for it. Either you pay or either the public pays. So no one really support. The commercial, as I say, the green side of, as you say, it's always been very commercial. Even Rock in Rio, which opened schools in Brazil, I mean, it's put one down a million tree as a campaign, like towards whatever. From the tickets you guarantee you put a million tree on the streets, so to sort of get people to raise consciousness to people to be aware of that. Even though the festival has a lot of more value inside it to really show them how to take care of the environment where we're working, and especially on the rock side festival. In Spain, probably we do have a more, I mean, the culture of to really taking care and give a little bit of extra value to spend the money. Because I mean, Rock in Rio, you even have the green synthetic pitch, so people that's really stay in a mud, which sometimes when you go in some English festival, you really feel like, I don't know where you are, but you're definitely not in a festival. You feel like you've been in some race of bulls somewhere in the middle of a field somewhere. But it's something which we do try to give us this extra value, as I say, to people to enjoy the festival and be there to be part of it and have all the comfort, like a good toilets, means a good facility to buy, purchase drinks and food, which sometimes you feel like going to a festival if you are hungry or you want to buy something, you feel for hours and hours and hours because it's very short service on the things.
I think we're getting close to running out of time, so I just, if there's a few questions maybe, possibly. If the girls with the mics wanted to find someone with a hand up.
Thanks you all. In fact, I have a few or even 4 questions that I would like
start with
one at a time. I know there's a lot of money involved in the creation and putting together of a festival. For that, for those deposits and money beforehand, which is the average percentage of the money you need to have and be paying in advance? How much, which percentage comes from the sponsors, and how long in advance it comes from them?
Yeah, I mean, with Festival and Camp Festival, then it's probably around 10% of what we rely on in terms of sponsorship, and then we have a deal with a ticket agency who give us an advance each year to keep us ticking over until we've sold enough tickets to pay for everything, and we have a policy where we don't pay artists until the actual day of the festival. You know, obviously there are some bigger artists that need deposits up front, but we try and put everything off until the last minute, so that's how we keep going year round. But I imagine abroad it's a lot more than 10%, but it's about 10% sponsorship.
I would imagine it's a lot different for yourself.
I mean, ours in Scotland is 3% for sponsorship, because the Scottish market is very small, you know, population-wise, and it just doesn't get the media cut through, which these guys are looking for in terms of exposure, so it's very, very small.
I think Spain is a huge sponsorship. Yeah, I would say 50 at least. From last year, at least, you know, it was more than 50%.
For us as well, it's similar to Robbie's. I mean, one issue we have is lots of the sponsors are just not appropriate for the show. You know, there's certain sponsors that just wouldn't sit right, and our audience would react really badly to it. So you have to also match the sponsorship that's available to the show.
Try and get another question in, if there's anyone else.
Have another two or so.
Well, it looks like you can have a second one if there's no one else.
Get my seat up here, Chris.
Yeah, do you want to maybe
Someone else? Okay. My second question is, well, once that we know that the money that you need in advance is sometimes 10%, 50% of what you have to have. After the festival, there have been many revenue streams like sold tickets, people or stands selling food or water that probably you charge them or get a commission of that. At the end of the day, how much of the actual income had come from the sponsors? Which I think it makes a difference.
You said the same.
It's the same question.
The same question.
Yeah.
Not really, because one thing is the money you have to have in advance to pay deposits and pay people already working for the festival, and the other is, from all the revenue streams, how much it came from the sponsor.
I mean, to clarify, sponsors usually give you a certain amount of money just to be on associated, and then the rest of the money has to be spent or is spent on site in production. So you don't really, it gets sucked into the budget. It's difficult to really...
Most commercial contracts, be it a sponsor, food or beverage, merchandising, etc., you're going to have all of those payments structured up front. So, you're going to be, in the same way most of the artist contracts are going to be 50%, on signature, then staggered payments leading through to the show. On the reverse of that, most of our deals, so if you're talking about cash flow, most of that money is going to be at least 50%, way before the festival, and we would expect every single commercial deal to be paid in full before the show starts. So that's how you manage your cash flow through it. And the second part to it overall is like the 3%. So in terms of our overall income, it's between 3 and 4% at the end of the festival, coming from sponsorship for us.
I think we're pretty much close there. So just to kind of wrap it up, and before say thank you for you all coming, I just wonder whether there's a couple of points maybe from each of you that has been arisen that you want to kind of just reiterate from this panel, basically.
No, I think Rob made a really good point before. I mean, the biggest recession is the one everybody talks about, and I think we're in this industry we are not protected from it at all, but I don't think it's the same as many others. I mean, the UK market is still incredibly strong. It's oversaturated, and it was oversaturated last year and the year before, so there's going to be people dropping out. But in terms of feast and famine, there's both. If you have quality, you have to give a compelling reason for people to part with their money, but no different from people coming to Ibiza. It's no, and I think most of the festivals that I'm aware of. Sorry. on it's a late night, sorry, and give that across. And if you offer value, then the shows will survive. If it's just a couple of acts on a stage in a field, then they can go and see that act in an arena for like a third of the price.
Martin?
Yeah, well, basically, I think that it's like almost a lot of business, ups and downs and things that happen. I think that the most important, from my perspective, if you love what you do, and you just need to be prepared for different circumstances. So, if you just to name 2 points, I think that just try to keep the leadership on what you do, and to follow up what the people's expectations are.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year was kind of year zero for UK festivals. There were too many in the market. It was oversaturated. It had to be some natural wastage, and probably, fortunately, in a weird way, the recession's come along. It's going to get rid of the weaker festivals that aren't there for the right reasons, that haven't got the sort of best ideas. And ultimately, like any business, you need to have those amazing ideas. You need to come with the strongest lineup you can, and you will sell your tickets. And I think also there are an amazing amount of very small festivals in the UK, 2,000 capacity, 5,000 capacity, that are really on the up, that are selling out, that are already sold out this year. They'll do that again next year. And I think that is the future of UK festivals, is in these smaller festivals, like how the Big Chill started out, how Festival started out, coming through, and they could be Glastonbury of tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I would need to give any recommendation, I mean, it's, if someone is as a festival or as a whatever little show, whatever he's doing, I mean, it's really watch out what you're doing, and when you get to a deal, just it's something very hard to do, especially when we have passion. But if we learn to say no on the right time, and maybe it's a way to survive.
Very good. I think it's just like any business. You've got to listen to what people want, and research and ask people what they want as well, and engage your audience, and not just assume that you know best, and because otherwise they'll go elsewhere. So I think that the one thing we do as festivals that people may not be aware of is that we have to put in toilets, we have to put in water, fences, all the unglamorous, unsexy stuff, which costs a lot of money. So it's not just about the headliners and pushing the actual festival, it's actually building small cities in the case of camping festivals. So I'd say, I agree with Robbie, it's sort of half and half.
That you two agree.
Yeah, well, just agree with Pino. I mean, in terms of business recession-wise, we have companies and we have to work with the new situation. So basically, we have to be very careful, and that incomes can be a little, can be less than years before, and we have to adapt to this new situation. But as a festival experience, there's ways to explore and new ways still to work on. We do a festival for kids, for children this year, only one day from 0 to 14. So no adults are allowed without children. And the experience of people meeting in a place, not to see only one show, to exchange ideas and experiences with other people, which is mainly the idea of a festival, is there, and I think there's future for the festivals.
Okay. So thanks for all taking the time out of time. Thanks a lot.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you to everybody here who've flown from all over the world to be here. So thank you.